How do we get rid of resistance and send it packing for good? Well, we're going to talk about that this afternoon. This is Tom Kieran with the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness in San Diego, California, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Welcome back, guys. I got a great lesson today, right on the heels of our lesson yesterday on the law of opposites. If you remember the law of opposites, it's that universal law that's not quite as well known or sexy as the law of attraction, which was really made well known by The Secret and Abraham Hicks and these other spiritual teachers. Again, there's a broader laws going on in the universe besides the law of attraction. We're going to talk about one of those today. We talked about it yesterday. I want to give you some more information on this law of opposites and why it's so cool. It ties in with the law of cause and effect, law of attraction, and other universal laws. What is the law of opposites, as we talked about yesterday? The law of opposites says that as soon as you set your intention, as soon as you decide what you want, what you desire, the universe brings you the exact opposite, the polar opposite of what you want. Why is that? Well, really for two reasons. The first reason is if you stay in the energy, the vibration, the feeling of want, lack, and need, this idea of just wanting, that's what the universe gives you. It gives you more wanting. It doesn't give you what you want, but the idea of more wanting, more need, more lack. I gave you the example of a couple that's trying to have a baby. And they try for months, sometimes years, and can't have a baby. Why? Because of all that resistance, all that pushing against, all that saying, we got to have this baby. It's life and death. It's our own happiness at stake. Everything's at stake to have this baby. So there's a lot of resistance, a lot of wanting, a lot of needing, a lack, not having the baby. And then finally they give up. And they say, we're happy anyway. We don't really, if we don't have the baby, that's okay. We got a wonderful life. We can adopt. And then as soon as they do that, and sometimes very often they do adopt, the baby comes. It's a miracle. Well, guys, that's how the universe works, right? As soon as that resistance is released, as soon as you get in the energy that you're happy anyway, that you're grateful for your life, that you're happy just as you are, the universe brings you what you want. That's the law of opposites, right? It brought you the opposite of what you want. And then it finally brings it to you when you get in that energy. The other reason the law of opposites operates is many times you're in that energy. You decide what you want, you choose, but then quickly the universe brings you the exact opposite, the polar opposite. You're saying, what's going on? It doesn't work. The law of attraction doesn't work for me. In fact, on the contrary, it's working perfectly. The law of opposites brings you, the reason it does that is the universe is bringing you a contextual framework. Because if you don't know what you want, if you don't know what you don't want, you don't know what you want. And so very often, there's still residual wanting energy, there's still residual desire energy. And so the first thing you see is the opposite of what you want. But guys, keep in mind, as we talked about yesterday, that's a sure indicator that what you want is on its way. Where do people get tripped up? They give up right at that moment. When they interpret that as negative, that it doesn't work, and the heck with it, I'm just going to be moody and negative, right? I was waiting, that law of attraction made me feel happy for all this time, and what a waste that was. Guys, it's kind of silly, right? Stay in that energy, because when that happens, if you're in that good energy, that gratitude, and you've made your choice, it's coming, even if the opposite comes before. Judge not by appearances. Jesus said it, right? So guys, just remember, that's how the law of opposite works. The first thing is when you're not in the good energy, you're not in the gratitude energy, you're not in the energy that you're happy anyway, that you're gracious and you have gratitude, and that you're full of life, and that you can, if you get that, fine. If you don't, you're still happy. And the other reason is for the contextual framework. We live in a universe of polarities. How can you enjoy light if you don't know the darkness? How can you enjoy happiness if you don't know sadness? This is why the universe brings that. But keep in mind, when that happens, good news is on the way. That's what I wanted to talk about today. So what I wanted to talk about, how do we send resistance packing? This law of opposites is a very powerful tool for you. So I wanted to sort of have a part 2 on it. The idea is turn the negative into a positive, opposition into opportunity. You've got to embrace the opposite. The opposite is a powerful, powerful tool. It's an indicator that good news is on the way. And it's the universe giving you a hug and saying, I gotcha. You got to turn that resistance into acceptance. Accept it. You've got to stop clinging and choose again. So as soon as you get that opposite, as soon as that happens, you've got to stay true to your choice. Stay true to what you want and choose again. Say, I know, I still believe, I still have faith. This is the idea. Don't cling to the negativity. Turn unbelief and faith into knowing. Here's the key, guys. Stop trying to change what you did not choose. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, even think in an earlier lesson. What we try to do is we get something negative in our life, or that we perceive as negative, or opposite of what we want. We get the law of opposites. We get the polar opposite of what we want, and we try to change that. We try to wrestle that to the ground. We try to battle with that instead of battling and trying to change people, circumstances, events that are already fully manifested. Choose again. Pull out of the infinite possibilities. Don't try to change what's already been manifested. That's a hard road. That's really banging it out. You got to really do a lot of doing and work for that. Tap into that, what hasn't been created. Choose again. Guys, this is the utter power of opposition. This power of opposites. It works. It is powerful. So do not look at, I never want you to look at an opposite the same again, because we live in a dual universe. Opposites are important. How do we know beauty unless we know things that are not beautiful? This is the idea. So how do I know? How do I know? Well, guys, I know because I know fear. So that's why I know love. I know joy because I've experienced grief, and I'm sure a lot of you have. I know pleasure because I experience pain, right? I know hope because I've been there in despair. We all have at one point in our lives or another. And even if you've had one of these. I know the feeling of innocence and purity and hopefulness because I've experienced feeling guilty. We talked about guilt. And I know what it's like to be vulnerable because I can experience it, or I know what it's like to be invincible because I've experienced being vulnerable. It's almost like you're vulnerable to the point of invulnerability. Once you expose yourself and you find that nothing happens bad, then you know that you're invulnerable, that you're immortal. And this whole idea guys, I know I'm blessed. I know you're blessed. Why? Because I know what it feels like to be condemned. And finally, I know the oneness. I know that we're not separated. I know that we're all connected because I know what it's like to feel alone. It's this duality. This is a blessing. What do? You always want to feel, don't try to deny your emotions, feel them, but then let them go. So it's not about repressing emotions. I don't want to get, I don't want to freak out psychologists and psychotherapists here, because you do want to feel those emotions. You don't want to repress them. I'm just saying, why go and keep digging them up and trying to find out why they're there? We know why they're there. They're there because you don't feel good. And the way to do it is feel them, understand them, but then let them go. If you keep putting your focus and attention on them, that's what you're going to get more of. So it's okay, guys. It's okay to feel fear, because then on the other side of that, you know love's coming. When you're in pain, you know that pleasure's coming. When you're in grief, you can feel okay. Take the grief, feel it, let it go, because you know that joy's on its way. Help is on its way, guys. When you're in despair, you know that hope's on the other side of it. This is powerful. So why do we feel opposites? Why do we have this whole idea of opposites? Why do we feel and get in our experience the opposite of what we desire? Well, we talked about why. But there's two reasons why we don't like getting opposites, right? That we feel bad. One is we feel shame or guilt for feeling them. We feel bad because we're feeling guilty. We feel bad because we're grieving. We really feel bad, right? And so this idea, a lot of times shame comes into it. Another reason would be that we're very fearful we'll get stuck there and we won't be able to get out of fear. We won't be able to get out of grief. But guys, we won't be able to get out of pain. But there's good news. Know this. When the opposite comes into your experience, help is on the way. Help is on the way. You know this. That's how the universe works. That's the power in the law of opposites. Embrace opposition. Embrace when the opposite comes to you in your life, because that means help is on the way. That means on the other side of that is what you want. Your only job is to start feeling better to get there. Thank God. Use gratitude. Use these tools that we've talked about to help you get there. Feel the grief. Feel the pain. Feel the shame. Feel the guilt. That's okay. But then know on the other side of it, help is on the way, is pleasure, oneness. Yes, guys, help is on the way. Yeah, love is on the other side of fear. Joy is on the other side of grief. This is amazing. So we talked about opposites. We talked about why it happens. We talked about why you don't like them or you don't like to feel them, right? This idea of shame of feeling them and this idea that we think we're going to get stuck in them. Now you have the tools. And we're going to have plenty more tools in future lessons. Guys, this is the law of opposites. This is the idea of releasing. This is all resistance, right? All resistance. You can't stay there and get what you want. You can feel it, but then let it go. So, not trying to tell you to avoid it completely, because what you avoid, you attract. What you resist, you attract. Yeah, what you fight, you attract. So what you want to do is feel it, but then make a choice that you want to let it go. And know, how can you do this? Why can you do this? Why can you believe me? Because have faith, believe that the universe, on the other side of that, it's law, it's universal law. God made these laws. God made these laws so you can rely on them. On the other side of it is this good news. It's coming. Your creation's coming. Yeah, you can smile and go on your way and embrace when that negativity comes up in your life, because you know that on the other side of that is everything that you want. This is Tom Kieran with the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness in San Diego, California. Until next time, talk to you soon. Oh, don't forget, guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, which is me with a caricature, the notification button, and the like button, because that's how we get the message out. Until next time.